stand-up box office record.
What record did he break?
He said he broke some record of your box office sales for stand-up.
I don't know. What did he break?
I seen your stuff on social media, boy. I know what you do. But you do it for play. 15 years in Hollywood. No one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
What if one of the biggest comedy stars in the world wasn't who he seemed to be? That's the question fans are now asking after a quiet comment from Eddie Murphy set off a chain reaction online. In a recent interview, Eddie was asked how he felt about Kevin Hart breaking his stand-up box office record. But instead of clapping back with jokes or praise, Eddie gave a look and simply asked, "What record did he break?" The room went silent. Eddie didn't stop there. He reminded everyone that Raw is still the #1 comedy concert film of all time, and he hasn't even touched a stage in 27 years. Then, with a smile, he said he might have to come back and take his title back from Kevin. It sounded playful, but longtime fans knew Eddie meant something deeper, because when a legend like Eddie Murphy throws shade, even softly, it means something. It makes people stop and think, especially since Eddie has never been the type to involve himself in drama. He doesn't gossip, he doesn't chase headlines. So why now? That's what got everyone's attention, because Eddie didn't just question a number, he questioned the story behind it. And it turns out, he's not the only one raising eyebrows about Kevin Hart's rise.
Are we ever gonna see you on stage again doing stand-up?
I'm gonna do it again, because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage, because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back.
But that wasn't the whole story, because what Katt Williams said next took things even further.
Do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
Katt Williams didn't hold back. For years, he's been calling out what he sees as fake success stories in Hollywood, and Kevin Hart has been his main target. In interviews, Katt has called Kevin an industry plant, a term used for someone who didn't rise naturally, but was placed in the spotlight by people behind the scenes. According to Katt, Kevin didn't earn his spot the hard way like most comedians. Instead, he skipped the line, and that, Katt says, is no accident. He broke it down step by step. How does a brand new comedian land a network sitcom and a starring role in a major movie like Soul Plane, all in his first year in Los Angeles? That doesn't happen to just anyone. Katt said no one had ever heard of that before, and no one has seen it since. In his eyes, Kevin didn't grind his way to the top. He was chosen, but Katt didn't stop at the timeline. He claimed that for 5 years, every comedy film Kevin starred in had been offered to him first, but Katt said he turned them down because he didn't want to play roles that made him feel like a stereotype or forced him into uncomfortable situations. He mentioned scenes that were overly silly, or ones with suggestive humor he wasn't okay with. When he passed on the roles, they went straight to Kevin. To Katt, it wasn't just about comedy, it was about principles. And what happened next would shock everyone, because Eddie Murphy started backing him up.
Hart broke your stand-up box office record.
What record did he break?
He said he broke some record of your box office sales for stand-up.
I don't know. What did he break?
Eddie Murphy's comment may have sounded lighthearted, but it added serious weight to what Katt Williams had been saying for years. When someone like Eddie, who's seen every corner of the industry, starts questioning your achievements, it makes people look twice. Eddie didn't just doubt Kevin's record, he challenged the image the industry built around him. And suddenly, more people started to ask, how did Kevin really become the face of comedy? This shift opened the floodgates. It was no longer just Katt shouting into the wind. Now, fans and insiders were taking a closer look at Kevin's past, not just his stand-up, but the whole package, his brand, his roles, even his connections. Katt had long suggested that Kevin was rewarded not just for being funny, but for being safe, someone who never rocked the boat, someone who played the game exactly how Hollywood wanted him to.
Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
Katt hinted that Kevin's success came at the cost of staying silent, avoiding tough topics, turning a blind eye to what was happening around him, and always doing what the industry asked. To some, that sounds smart, but to others, it sounds like selling out. And with Eddie Murphy tossing his own subtle jab into the mix, people started digging deeper, because if both Katt and Eddie are questioning the same man, there might be more to the story. But the real turning point came when footage from Kevin's past began to resurface, and it raised even more questions. That's when the internet internet uncovered something people had forgotten, a video from 2010 showing Kevin Hart hosting a private party in Las Vegas. On the surface, it looked like just another celebrity event, but once people watched the footage closely, the mood changed. This wasn't just any party. It was a wild night hosted for Diddy, with Kevin front and center, not as a guest, but as the main host, keeping the energy high. One clip showed Kevin laughing in a small bathroom, surrounded by women in bikinis, candles burning, music blasting. At one point, a woman's hair caught on fire. Instead of reacting with concern, Kevin and the others laughed it off like it was a joke. No one stopped the music. No one paused the party. It was chaos, and Kevin didn't just witness it, he was part of it.
See what you... Yeah. The water was deeper though.
Came up, flame was gone. At that time, I was in panic. I had asthma. It was a difficult situation.
In another clip, Kevin turns to the camera crew and tells them not to film a certain area of the room, right where Diddy was sitting. He never explained why, but that small warning sparked online theories. What didn't he want the camera to catch? What was going on in that room that Kevin felt the need to hide? To be clear, Kevin hasn't been accused of any crimes, and the footage doesn't show anything illegal. But the concern isn't just about actions, it's about presence. Kevin wasn't just near the scene, he created the scene. He hosted, entertained, and seemed totally at ease while things spiraled. And that wasn't the only time Kevin's judgment came under fire. His personal scandals tell another side of the story. Kevin Hart's public image has always been clean-cut, funny, family-focused, and hardworking. But behind the scenes, his record shows a different pattern. In 2013, he was arrested for driving under the influence after nearly crashing into a tanker truck. Police said he showed clear signs of being drunk, and Kevin later admitted he made a serious mistake.
The cop comes over. Cop's like, license and registration, please. So Mike go, Buck, where's the registration for the cop? You know, he's got this African accent, right? Buck go. Man, you better get the fuck out of here. Stop talking to me, Mike. I don't know shit. I don't know nothing now, man.
Then in 2017, a cheating scandal rocked his marriage. A video surfaced showing Kevin in a compromising situation with another woman in Las Vegas. It got worse when someone tried to extort him with that footage. Kevin responded by publicly apologizing to his wife, who was pregnant at the time. And in 2018, Kevin lost his chance to host the Oscars after old stand-up clips and tweets resurfaced, jokes that many felt were offensive. At first, Kevin refused to apologize again, but the backlash was so strong, he eventually stepped down. Each time he stayed quiet until the pressure forced him to speak, but this pattern of silence kept raising eyebrows. And Katt Williams wasn't done yet.
15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
Katt Williams didn't just question Kevin's rise, he went after the system that helped build it. In his 2024 interview, Katt broke down how Hollywood picks favorites. He said Kevin didn't follow the usual path of grinding in clubs for years. Instead, he arrived in LA and was almost instantly handed a sitcom and movie roles. To Katt, that wasn't talent, it was placement.
He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No.
He called Kevin a plant, someone placed in the spotlight by powerful people. And he wasn't just talking about comedy. Katt claimed that Kevin skipped the line because he said yes to things other comedians wouldn't. He stayed quiet. He played the game. And that silence, Katt argued, was rewarded. Katt even questioned Kevin's Netflix documentary, saying the timeline didn't add up. How could Kevin be an East Coast underdog while also building a career in Hollywood at the same time? And Katt wasn't the only one asking hard questions. Monique came forward with a story of her own, and it hit even closer to home. Monique, another respected voice in comedy, shared her own experience with Kevin Hart. And it wasn't the uplifting story fans expected. She said Kevin once promised to help her get back into the spotlight. He offered to produce her talk show, even gave her money to get started. At first, it felt like real support.
Hear me, Kevin Hart. Let's move past that, Mo. Let's do some great things together. Don't even worry about it. Whatever y'all want to do, I will partner with you. I'll executive produce with you. You just let me know what you want to do.
Monique was excited. She told her production team, and they were all ready to move forward. But just 2 weeks later, the deal fell apart. According to Monique, Kevin's manager called the network and pulled out. When she tried to reach Kevin for answers, all she got was a vague, "We'll talk Tuesday." That conversation never happened.
That's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you right now, it's a miscommunication. That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him. I've never talked back to Kevin Hart again.
2 years later, Monique says she still hasn't heard from him. Some fans now believe Kevin backed out to protect his own career, especially since Monique was clashing with powerful figures like Oprah and Tyler Perry at the time. But that wasn't all. Katt Williams also pointed to Kevin's role in choosing who gets through Hollywood's gate and who gets left out. Katt Williams argued that Kevin Hart didn't just benefit from the system, he became part of it. He claimed Kevin turned into a gatekeeper, deciding who gets opportunities in comedy. One example, Tiffany Haddish. According to Katt, Kevin helped open the door for her, but skipped over veteran black women comedians who had been grinding for years. Katt questioned whether Tiffany had earned her status as a top comedian. He said people couldn't even name one of her stand-up jokes. He also suggested her breakout role in Girls Trip wasn't about her comedy chops, but about her image. In his eyes, the industry used her story, not her skill. He even called out how quickly Hollywood embraced her, while legends like Luenell and Miss Laura still struggle for recognition. To Katt, it wasn't about hate, it was about fairness. He asked why the same few people always get picked to open the gate. But Kevin didn't stay silent. When Katt went public, Kevin clapped back, and he did it on a big stage. Kevin Hart finally hit back, and he didn't hold back either. Appearing on The Breakfast Club alongside Tiffany Haddish, Kevin directly addressed Katt Williams' claims. He said Katt had his shot at the top, but blew it by not showing up to promo shoots, missing work, and becoming too much of a risk for studios to trust. Kevin made it clear he believed hard work and consistency were the real keys to success. He defended Tiffany too, saying she earned her spot and didn't deserve to be torn down. Then, Kevin went a step further. He said the world Katt lives in is fictional, full of excuses instead of accountability. To Kevin, Katt was blaming others instead of owning up to why his own career stalled. But fans noticed something. Kevin focused on Katt's past mistakes, not the deeper points Katt made about the industry's power structure. Still, Katt wasn't finished. He brought up one more issue, a topic that's been debated in Hollywood for years. Katt Williams closed his argument by bringing up something many comedians have whispered about for years: the pressure on black male actors to wear dresses for laughs. He said it's not just about comedy, but control. He believes Hollywood often tests boundaries, and Kevin passed that test by saying yes to roles others turned down. Katt pointed to sketches where Kevin wore a dress, claiming it wasn't just a joke, it was part of a pattern. While Kevin insists it was his choice and just funny, Katt and others like Dave Chappelle have long believed it's symbolic of deeper industry influence. In Katt's view, he lost opportunities because he refused to play along. Meanwhile, Kevin kept climbing. To Katt, that's the real difference. Not talent, but how far someone's willing to go. Whether you agree with Katt, side with Kevin, or believe the truth lies somewhere in between. One thing's clear, Eddie Murphy's quiet comment opened a loud conversation. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and let us know who's really telling the truth.